pause for a moment and think, what if I told you that there are 6 simple words, 6 words that the great philosophers of antiquity used, that have the power to completely transform the way you relate to people? Words that can make anyone feel drawn to you, not in a manipulative way, but through a genuine and deep connection. You're probably thinking that this is impossible, that relationships are far too complex to be summarized in a handful of words. But what if I prove to you that the Stoics, those masters of ancient wisdom, already knew this secret more than 2,000 years ago? Today you're going to discover these 6 powerful words that can radically change the way people perceive you. And I promise that the final revelation, the 6th word, is so transformative that you will never look at your relationships the same way again. Stay until the end, because each word I'm about to reveal is a crucial piece of a puzzle that, once complete, will give you an incredible power for human connection. Before we continue, if you're seeking personal growth, practical wisdom, and a more purposeful life, subscribe to the channel right now. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any content that can literally transform your life. Believe me, what you're going to discover here today is not just theory, it's practical knowledge that will change your social interactions forever. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have a natural magnetism? How they walk into a room and everyone wants to be around them? It's not luck, and it's not just natural charisma. It's the result of principles that can be learned and applied. The Stoics understood that true influence doesn't come from cheap persuasion techniques or psychological manipulation. It comes from something much deeper, something rooted in the very essence of what it means to be human. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome, wrote in his Meditations something that should be engraved in the mind of anyone who wants to truly connect with others. He said that the best way to avenge an enemy is not to become like him. But he went even further. Marcus Aurelius understood that strength of character, expressed through specific words and actions, was the real secret to influencing people, not through fear or force, but through genuine respect and admiration. Seneca, another giant of Stoicism, spent decades advising emperors and studying human nature. He discovered patterns, behaviors, and especially words that had the power to open hearts and minds. Seneca knew that communication is not just about what you say, but about how you make the other person feel. And that is exactly what these 6 words do. They touch something deep within the human psyche. Now you might be wondering, why 6 words? Why not 5 or 10? The Stoics believed in simplicity and precision. They understood that the deepest truths are often the simplest ones. These 6 words are not complicated, and they don't require you to be a rhetorical genius. They're words anyone can use, but very few people truly understand the power behind them. Think about the most influential people you know. I'm not necessarily talking about celebrities or public figures. I'm talking about that person in your life who everyone listens to when they speak. That person others turn to in difficult moments. That person who seems to have a natural wisdom about relationships. These people, consciously or not, apply the principles I'm about to reveal to you today. The first thing you need to understand is that genuine attraction has nothing to do with physical appearance or social status. It has everything to do with how you make people feel when they're around you. The Stoics called this virtue in action. It's the ability to express, through simple but powerful words, the highest values of humanity: respect, empathy, understanding, and strength of character. Epictetus, who began life as a slave and became one of the most respected philosophers of ancient Rome, taught his students that we control very little in this world. We don't control what happens to us, and we don't control the actions of others. But we absolutely control our words and our reactions, and it is precisely in this control that our true power of influence lies. Imagine having the ability to walk into any social situation, whether a work meeting, a romantic date, or even a tough conversation with a family member, and knowing exactly what to say to create instant connection. It's not about being fake or rehearsed. It's about tapping into principles tested by thousands of years of human wisdom. It's about using words that resonate with the deepest truth of what it means to be human. You're about to discover that these 6 words are not magic formulas or cheap psychological tricks. They are authentic expressions of Stoic virtues that, when applied correctly, create an irresistible connection with anyone. And the most incredible part? The more you use them, the more natural they become until they turn into a genuine part of who you are. Get ready, because I'm about to reveal the first of these 6 powerful words. A word that has the power to disarm defenses, open hearts, and create instant trust. A word so simple that you may be underestimating its power at this very moment. The first word the Stoics mastered, and that you need to incorporate into your communication, is thank you. Yes, you read that right. Thank you. And before you think this is far too obvious, let me explain why this simple word carries a transformational power that most people never fully understood. Marcus Aurelius began each day practicing gratitude. He literally wrote in his personal journal about the people who helped him, who taught him something, who contributed in some way to his life. But he didn't do this only as a mental exercise. He expressed this gratitude directly to those people. And this, my friend, completely changed the dynamic of his relationships. When you say thank you to someone, you're not just being polite. You're acknowledging that person's value. You're saying, I see you. I recognize your effort. Your contribution matters to me. In a world where everyone is desperate for recognition and validation, this simple word becomes a powerful tool for connection. But here's the secret few people understand. Not every thank you works. It's not that automatic mechanical thank you you spit out without thinking when someone passes you the salt at the table. The Stoics practiced what we call conscious and specific gratitude. It's looking someone in the eyes and saying, thank you for taking the time to help me with that project. Thank you for listening when I needed to vent. Thank you for being so patient with me. Seneca wrote entire letters about the power of gratitude. He said that an ungrateful person is poorer than any beggar because they fail to recognize the wealth they already have around them. And when you express genuine gratitude, you not only elevate the other person, you elevate yourself as well. You train your brain to focus on what's good, on what works, on what deserves to be celebrated. Think about how you feel when someone truly thanks you. Not that quick, emotionless thank you, but when someone stops, looks you in the eyes, and genuinely acknowledges something you did. You feel seen, valued, important, and automatically you want to be closer to that person. You want to help them again. You create a virtuous cycle of positive connection. Now let's move on to the second powerful word, sorry. And again, before you think this is too basic, let me show you the deeper dimension the Stoics saw in this word. For a Stoic, apologizing was not a sign of weakness. It was the highest demonstration of strength of character. Epictetus taught that the wise person is not afraid to admit their mistakes because they understand that making mistakes is part of the human condition. But most people are so afraid of looking weak, of losing authority or respect, that they never apologize. And this creates insurmountable walls in relationships. When you say sorry genuinely, you're doing several things at once. First, you're taking responsibility for your actions. Second, you're acknowledging that the other person has value and deserves respect. Third, you're demonstrating emotional maturity and humility. And these 3 things together create magnetic attraction. Think of the leaders you admire most. They're not the ones who never make mistakes. That's impossible. They're the ones who, when they do make mistakes, have the courage and integrity to admit it. They're the ones who say, I was wrong, I acknowledge that I hurt you, and I will do better from now on. That's the difference between a mediocre leader and an extraordinary one. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the known world at the time, constantly wrote about his own flaws and mistakes. He wasn't ashamed to admit when he was wrong, even as emperor, and it was precisely this humility, combined with his wisdom, that made him one of the most respected rulers in history. But here's the crucial part. Apologizing is not about lowering yourself or humiliating yourself. It's about recognizing reality, taking responsibility, and showing that you value the relationship more than your ego. The Stoics understood that the ego is the biggest enemy of genuine connection. When you can put your ego aside and say sorry sincerely, you remove barriers and create space for true trust. If you're enjoying this content and realizing how these words can transform your relationships, click the like button now. This helps more people discover this ancient wisdom that can change lives. And believe me, you haven't seen anything yet. The next words are even more powerful. The third word that will revolutionize your way of connecting with people is, I understand. This word carries one of the most fundamental principles of Stoicism, deep empathy. When you say I understand to someone, you're validating that person's experience. You're saying, your feelings are real, your perspective is valid, you are not alone in this. We live in a time where everyone wants to talk, but no one really wants to listen. Everyone wants to be understood, but few make an effort to understand others. The Stoics knew that true human connection happens when you can put yourself in another person's shoes, even if you don't agree with them. Marcus Aurelius had a mental exercise he practiced daily. He imagined the motivations, fears, and hopes of the people around him. He tried to understand why people acted the way they did, not to judge them, but to connect with their shared humanity. And when he said, I understand, he truly meant it. When you say, I understand to someone who is sharing a problem, a pain, or a frustration, you are offering something that is incredibly rare these days, genuine presence and emotional validation. You're not trying to solve the problem immediately. You're not minimizing the person's pain, and you're not shifting the focus to yourself. You're simply acknowledging that their experience is real and important. Seneca wrote about how most people suffer far more from the lack of understanding than from the problem itself. When someone feels misunderstood or isolated, their pain multiplies. But when someone says, I understand, and truly demonstrates that understanding, half the weight is already lifted. That's why this word has such a magnetic power of attraction. But be careful. Just like other words, I understand only works when it's genuine. People have a natural radar for detecting falseness. If you say, I understand, but your eyes are on your phone, if you say, I understand, but immediately start talking about yourself, if you say, I understand, but your tone shows impatience, you're not really understanding. And the person will feel that. The Stoics practiced what we now call active listening. They didn't just hear the words, they observed body language, tone of voice, and the emotions behind the words. They asked questions to understand more deeply. They reflected back what they were hearing to ensure they truly understood. And only then, only after genuinely understanding, would they say, I understand. Imagine the impact of this in a romantic relationship. Your partner comes home frustrated about something that happened at work. Most people would do one of three things: try to fix the problem immediately, downplay the situation by saying it's not that serious, or change the subject to talk about their own problems. But what if you simply paused, looked them in the eyes and said, I understand how frustrating that must have been for you. Tell me more about what happened. You just created a deep connection in seconds. Epictetus taught his students that we do not control external events, but we have full control over how we respond to them. And one of the most powerful responses we can choose is conscious empathy. It is the active decision to understand before being understood. It is choosing connection over correction. It is prioritizing the relationship over being right. Now we arrive at the fourth word, and this one is especially powerful because it goes against everything modern society teaches us. The fourth word is I help, not as a vague and generic offer, but as a specific and actionable commitment. The Stoics believed that the fundamental purpose of human life is to serve one another, to contribute to the common good. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we were born to work together, like feet, hands, eyelids, or the rows of upper and lower teeth. Working against each other is unnatural. When you offer genuine help, you're aligning yourself with this fundamental human nature. And people are magnetically drawn to those who genuinely want to help without expecting anything in return. But here's the crucial detail that sets a Stoic apart from an ordinary person. It's not about offering help to look good or to make others owe you favors. It's about recognizing that helping others is good for you as well. The Stoics understood that when you help someone, you're not doing them a favor. You're exercising your own virtue. You're becoming a better person. Think about the last time someone offered you real help. Not the generic, let me know if you need anything, that never turns into actual action. But when someone noticed you were struggling and said, let me help you with this. I can do this specific thing for you. How did you feel toward that person? You likely felt gratitude, connection, and a desire to give back in some way. Seneca had a powerful line about this. He said that giving is more divine than receiving. But he wasn't talking about material gifts. He was talking about giving your time, your attention, your skills, your energy to help another human being. And when you do that consistently, you become the kind of person others naturally want to keep close. But here's an extremely important point. Helping does not mean doing everything for others or completely suppressing yourself. The Stoics also practiced healthy boundaries. They helped in ways that respected both their own capacities and the autonomy of the other person. It's offering help, not imposing help. It's empowering, not creating dependence. When you say, I help, and truly follow through, you demonstrate reliability. And reliability is one of the most attractive qualities a human being can possess. People know they can count on you. They know your words carry weight. They know you are someone of action, not just empty promises. The fifth word that will transform your relationships is respect. And this word carries within it the essence of everything the Stoics believed about how to treat other human beings. Respect is not just superficial politeness. It is the deep recognition that every person has inherent worth, regardless of their social status, achievements, or flaws. Marcus Aurelius ruled over millions of people, but he treated a slave with the same respect he would show a senator. Why? Because he understood that we are all part of the same humanity. We all face the same fundamental struggles: fear, hope, love, loss. We all deserve basic dignity. When you show genuine respect to someone, especially in moments when it would be easy to disrespect them, you create an indelible impression. People never forget how you made them feel. And when you make someone feel respected, valued, and worthy, you earn not just their sympathy but their deep loyalty. Stoic respect is not conditional. It doesn't depend on whether someone agrees with you, is useful to you, or meets your expectations. It is an unconditional respect for the humanity that exists in every person. And when you practice this consistently, people notice. They feel they can be authentic around you, that they don't need to wear masks or pretend to be something they're not. Epictetus said something revolutionary for his time, and still revolutionary today. He said that if someone insults you, the insult has no power over you unless you accept it. But even more importantly, he taught that even when someone disrespects you, you don't have to come down to their level. You can choose to maintain your standard of respect. And that choice, that strength of character, is incredibly attractive. Think about the conflicts you've experienced. How many times have you seen someone stay calm and respectful while everyone else around them was losing their composure? That person immediately stands out. They automatically gain moral authority and respect from everyone who witnesses it. Why? Because they showed something rare: self-control and unshakable principles. When you say you respect someone's opinion, even while completely disagreeing with it, you're doing something powerful. You're separating the person from their ideas. You're saying, I can disagree with you without devaluing you as a human being. And that opens doors to real dialogue, to genuine connection, even amid differences. Seneca had an interesting practice. He regularly spent time with people from all social classes, from slaves to nobles. He did this deliberately to remind himself that social status is temporary and superficial, but humanity is universal and permanent. And this practice transformed him into someone who could deeply connect with any kind of person. Respect also shows up in small things most people ignore. It's remembering people's names and using them. It's arriving on time, showing that you value the other person's time. It's keeping the confidences entrusted to you. It's not speaking badly about someone behind their back. These small, consistent displays of respect are what build a solid and magnetic reputation. And here's something that might surprise you. Respecting others starts with respecting yourself. The Stoics were obsessed with self-knowledge and self-improvement. They knew you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't respect your own values, your own boundaries, your own word, you won't be able to genuinely respect others. Everything begins from the inside out. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best revenge is not to be like the one who harmed you. This is respect in action, is maintaining high standards regardless of how others treat you. And when you do this, when you demonstrate that level of integrity, people are naturally drawn to you. They want to be around someone who represents something greater than momentary impulses and emotional reactions. Now think about how these 5 words work together. Thank you shows gratitude. Sorry demonstrates humility. I understand offers empathy. I help expresses generosity. Respect establishes dignity. Each of these words is powerful alone, but when you combine them in the way you communicate and relate, you become irresistible, not manipulatively, but authentically and deeply. People spend their whole lives searching for persuasion tricks, manipulation techniques, strategies to influence others. But the Stoics knew that true attraction comes from being a person of exceptional character. It comes from practicing virtues consistently. It comes from treating others with the dignity everyone deserves. You may have already noticed a pattern here. All these words have something in common. They put the focus on the other person, not on you. They recognize, validate, and elevate the other person. And this is the most beautiful paradox of human relationships. When you genuinely focus on making others feel valued, you become the most valued person in the room. Epictetus taught that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen twice as much as we speak. And these 5 words are tools for active listening and conscious response. You listen to what the person needs and respond with the appropriate word. Thank you when you receive. Sorry when you make a mistake. I understand when someone opens up. I help when you see a need. Respect always. But now we arrive at the most important moment of this video. The 5 words I've revealed so far are powerful, transformative, capable of revolutionizing your relationships. But there is a 6th word, the most powerful of all, the one the Stoics considered the culmination of all wisdom about human relationships. A word so deep that when you truly understand its meaning and incorporate it into your life, you become not just attractive, but unforgettable. This 6th word goes beyond all the others because it doesn't just build connection, it creates transformation. It doesn't just attract people, it inspires people. And this is exactly the word that separates those who are simply socially successful from those who leave a lasting legacy in the lives of everyone they encounter. Are you ready to discover what this 6th word is? Are you prepared to understand the final secret the great Stoics used to touch the hearts and minds of millions throughout history? Because what comes next will completely change your perspective on what it truly means to connect with another human being. The 6th and most powerful word the Stoics mastered, the word that has the power to transform not only your relationships but your very existence, is I believe. And no, I'm not talking about religious belief or blind faith. I'm talking about something much deeper and far more revolutionary. I'm talking about the ability to say to another person, I believe in you. Think for a moment. How many times in your life has someone looked you in the eyes and sincerely said, I believe in you? Not when everything was going well, not when you had already proven your worth, but in that moment of doubt, in that instant when you didn't believe in yourself. If you can count those moments on the fingers of one hand, you understand the devastating power this word carries. Marcus Aurelius had a tutor in his youth who completely changed his life. This man, named Apollonius, did something extraordinary. Every time young Marcus faced a challenge, every time he doubted himself, Apollonius would look at him and say, "I believe you have the ability to overcome this." And that unshakable belief from another person planted seeds of confidence that transformed an insecure young man into Rome's greatest philosopher-emperor. Seneca wrote letters to his young friend Lucilius, and in those letters he repeatedly expressed his belief in Lucilius's potential. It wasn't empty praise or superficial motivation. It was the genuine recognition that Lucilius possessed dormant qualities waiting to bloom. And Seneca's constant belief helped Lucilius eventually become a respected philosopher himself. Here's a truth most people never grasp. We all carry deep doubts about ourselves. We all have moments when we question our worth, our abilities, our deservingness of love and success. And when someone, especially someone we respect, says, "I believe in you," that person is offering something more precious than gold. They are offering hope. When you say "I believe" to someone who is thinking about giving up on a dream, you're not just being kind. You're potentially changing the course of that person's life. You are becoming the catalyst that can transform doubt into determination, fear into courage, paralysis into action. Epictetus spent years as a slave before gaining his freedom. And during those difficult years, there were people who believed in his intellectual potential, who saw beyond his social condition and recognized his brilliant mind. That belief in his value is what allowed him to eventually become one of the greatest teachers of philosophy in antiquity. But here's the deepest aspect of "I believe." When you express genuine belief in someone, you're doing more than motivating them. You're seeing potential that the person themselves might not yet see. You're signaling that you recognize something special, something valuable, something worthy of being nurtured and developed. Think of great leaders, great teachers, great parents. What makes them special? It's not just knowledge or skill. It's the ability to see potential in people and believe in it so strongly that people begin to believe in themselves. It's the power to look at someone and see not just who they are, but who they can become. The Stoics had a concept called oikeiosis, which means appropriation or familiarization. It's the idea that humans have a natural tendency to expand their circle of concern, starting with themselves and extending to family, friends, community, and eventually all of humanity. And believing in others is one of the most powerful ways to practice this expansion. When you say "I believe," you're saying several things at once. You're saying, "I see you, I recognize your worth, I have faith in your ability, I am here supporting you." It's one of the most complete declarations of human support that exists. And in a world where so many people feel invisible, undervalued, insecure, this word becomes a beacon of light. Marcus Aurelius wrote that human beings exist for one another, that our fundamental purpose is to help each other become better versions of ourselves. And believing in others is perhaps the purest way to live that purpose. It is investing your emotional energy in someone else's growth and success. But just like all the other words, "I believe" only has power when it's genuine. You cannot fake believing in someone. People feel when it's false, when it's just an attempt to look supportive or gain favor. Genuine belief comes from truly observing the person, knowing their qualities, recognizing their potential, and expressing it honestly. Here's a practical exercise you can start today. Choose someone in your life who's going through difficulties, who's doubting themselves, who needs encouragement. Look at this person and find something genuine you believe about them. It might be their resilience, their creativity, their kindness, their intelligence, their determination. Then say to them, "I believe in you because of this quality I see in you." Seneca said that keeping wisdom only for yourself is like not using a fortune you possess. Wisdom only has real value when it is shared, when it transforms lives. And expressing genuine belief in others is one of the most powerful ways to share wisdom. It is saying, I have learned that you have value, and I want you to know it too. Now you have the 6 powerful words the Stoics used to create deep and lasting connections with people. Thank you. Sorry. I understand. I help. I respect. I believe. 6 simple words that carry the weight of millennia of wisdom about human nature and what truly matters in relationships. These 6 words are not tricks or manipulation techniques. They are authentic expressions of fundamental virtues that the Stoics spent their entire lives cultivating. And the most amazing thing is that the more you practice them, the more natural they become. They stop being words you use strategically and become part of who you are. Marcus Aurelius spent hours every day reflecting on how he had treated people. He would ask himself, was I grateful today? Did I acknowledge my mistakes? Did I understand other people's perspectives? Did I offer genuine help? Did I show universal respect? Did I believe in the potential of the people around me? This daily practice of self-examination turned these words into automatic habits. And here's something fascinating that modern neuroscience confirms. When you consistently practice these behaviors, you literally rewire your brain. You create new neural patterns that make gratitude, humility, empathy, generosity, respect, and belief in others your automatic responses. You naturally become the kind of person others are drawn to. Think about your life 6 months from now if you start incorporating these 6 words consistently. Imagine your relationships transformed. Imagine the doors that will open because people trust you, respect you, want to be around you. Imagine the impact you can have on other people's lives simply by being someone who genuinely expresses these virtues. Epictetus had a powerful saying, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Anyone can talk about virtue, about connection, about treating people well. But the Stoics knew that what matters is not what you say about your values, it's how you live those values every day, in every interaction, with every person who crosses your path. Now let me challenge you with something important. These 6 words only work when you act on them consistently. Once is not enough. A week is not enough. It has to become your way of being. Marcus Aurelius didn't become the most respected philosopher-emperor in history by practicing virtue occasionally. He practiced it obsessively, daily, in every decision he made. Seneca wrote that it's not because things are difficult that we don't dare. It's because we don't dare that they are difficult. Starting to incorporate these 6 words into your life might feel challenging at first. It might feel artificial, forced, uncomfortable. But that feeling passes. And on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you that is magnetic, inspiring, transformative. Here's a practical action plan for you to start today. First, choose one of these 6 words to focus on this week. Just one. Let's say you choose thank you. Your mission this week is to express genuine gratitude at least 3 times a day. Not automatic, superficial gratitude, but conscious, specific gratitude, looking the person in the eyes. Next week, you add the 2nd word. Now you're practicing thank you and I'm sorry, and so on, until in 6 weeks you're consistently embodying all 6 words. And at that point, you'll notice something extraordinary. The people around you start to change the way they respond to you. They become more open, more trusting, more connected. But here's something even more important that will happen. You will change. You will become a more grateful, more humble, more empathetic, more generous, more respectful person. Someone who sees and believes in the potential of others. And this internal transformation is far more valuable than any external success these words might bring. The Stoics believed that true happiness doesn't come from external circumstances or from other people's approval. It comes from living according to virtue, from knowing you're becoming the best version of yourself. And when you practice these 6 words, when you embody the virtues they represent, you experience that deep happiness no external circumstance can take away. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, plagues, betrayals, personal tragedies. But he kept his inner peace because he knew he was living according to his principles. He knew he was treating people with dignity, that he was contributing to something greater than himself, and that knowledge sustained him through everything. If you watched this far, write in the comments which of these 6 words resonated with you the most. Which one do you feel you need to embody more in your life? Thank you, I'm sorry. I understand, I help, I respect, or I believe. Share your reflection, because not only does it help you solidify the learning, it also inspires others who are on the same journey. And here is my final promise to you. If you truly embody these 6 words, if you practice the virtues they represent consistently, you won't just attract people into your life, you will attract the right people. You will build deep, meaningful, lasting relationships. You will become someone who leaves a positive impact on every life you touch. Seneca said something that perfectly sums up everything we talked about today. While we teach, we learn. When you practice these 6 words, when you uplift others, you uplift yourself. When you contribute to others' growth, you grow. When you believe in others, you strengthen your own belief in yourself. It's a virtuous cycle that transforms everything around you. So start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment, the ideal situation, the right person. Start now with the next person you meet. Say thank you with intention. Apologize when needed. Show that you understand. Offer genuine help. Show unconditional respect. Express belief in other people's potential. And watch how your life transforms. If this video impacted you, if these 6 words opened your mind to possibilities you didn't see before, subscribe to the channel now. There's much more Stoic wisdom waiting for you, much more practical knowledge that can transform your life. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Be the catalyst for transformation in someone else's life. See you in the next video, where we will dive even deeper into the Stoic teachings that can revolutionize the way you live. Until then, remember, you have the power to transform your relationships and your life through 6 simple but profoundly powerful words. Use that power with wisdom. Use it with compassion. Use it every day. The world needs more people like the one you decided to become today.